Good evening, everybody. I would like to welcome you all out to our 2024 Black History Program. Tonight's program consists of a couple of skits written and directed by the Director of African American Male Initiative, Professor Andre Drummer. And of course, we have our very special guest speaker, all the way from Greensboro, North Carolina. And I'm excited for what the night unfolds. I hope you're ready to be informed, encouraged, and inspired. Without further ado, let us begin. Our first skit will be performed by the African American Male Initiative. In a society that has normalized objectifying and sexualizing women, these young men seek the wisdom of the elders, the men of old who recognize the woman for the jewel that she is. But they must first fight through immaturity. Welcome, AAMI.
Greetings to all you distinguished individuals. My name is Jerry Williams, and I'll be your narrator for tonight's skits. In a moment, we will present to you very real expressions. Get comfortable and travel with me as we observe two very immature young men and that of a rather peculiar man, one who carries himself with a keen sense of dignity and maturity. There was a time in years past when men honored and respected women for the gifts that they are. They loved the way women thought because the woman's thoughts mixed with theirs stabilized the family. Her thoughts were to build the home. His words to protect it. Her thoughts were to nurture the family. His words to provide for it. Somewhere in history, the system was broken, and the equilibrium was replaced by dysfunctionality and acceptable norm. I believe this took place somewhere between you're free and act like a lady, but think like a man.
the youth are yearning for the wisdom of the elders, but the elders are ever fleeing. Everyone is looking for the turn up.
Now we'll move into our skit 2. It will be performed by the Uncommon Crew and the African American Male Initiative. The Uncommon Crew is a local teenage male mentoring organization focused on readiness. This skit helps them reflect on the intellect and courage of the past to show them that they are more than. Our youth must know that they are not alone. They need to know they have support. They need examples, role models. When we all come together to provide solid mentorship, they will see glory.
Listen, when you're standing up here amongst your peers, I want you to stand with your head held high, poised with some pride and dignity. Your head held high. Come here, just for a moment. I want you to know that you are more than what they say you are. You are more than what they have defined you on social media and other media outlets. You are more than what you've been called. You're more than that. I love you. With every part of my being, I do. Do you understand that? Yes, sir. I want you to understand that whatever it is you desire to be, you can be just that. But you've got to carry yourself in a way that you believe that to be true. We're going to be successful. You're going to make it. Everything your heart desires, that's what you'll be. Not what they said, not how they define you, but that what you want for yourself. And together we're going to do it. And when you stand amongst your peers, I want you to have that confidence. I want you to have that pride. Because you're capable. You're strong. You're a man. And all that that encompasses. Do you understand? Yes, sir. You're charged today. In front of everyone here. To let them know, to remind them that we are more than what has been said. And when the glory comes, they will see that we're inventors, we're doctors, we're lawyers, we're entrepreneurs, we're politicians, we're our ancestors' wildest dreams. And we'll achieve it together because we know that we can. And success is ours. Together we'll do it. One team, one fight. Young brothers, when you say that we are in one fight, you've got to say it that's convincing, not just to yourselves, but to the brother that stands to the left of you and to the right of you. You're charged tonight that you change the narrative, that you're convincing to yourselves and others that we certainly are one team and one fight. One team. One fight. One team. One fight.
Now I will get the opportunity to introduce our speaker for tonight. As one of the nation's leading student success and educator empowerment speakers in high schools and colleges, KD delivers life-changing speeches, provides resources, developmental training, and inspirational engagements for students, educators, and teams everywhere. KD is a former teacher, former youth minister, and former first responder with a heart to see students and educators free of fear, regret, and doubt while living up to their full potential. Simply put, KD has lived a life that connects with thousands. Bobcats, put your hands together as we welcome KD to the stage.
Mic check, 1, 2. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? There you go. First off, gentlemen, young brothers, I am proud of you, man. Can we give them a round of applause, y'all? I have the opportunity and the privilege of being here with you right now. And please don't think it's the other way around. I have the opportunity and the privilege of being here with you right now. I want you to understand something very, very seriously. For every single person in this room, there is literally no one else like you in the entire world. If you ever truly understood what that meant, I think you'd move just a little bit different. You are literally the only one like you that we will ever have in the history of mankind. Consider that for a moment. I'm not big on speeches, but I love good conversations. So I'm going to ask some questions. We'll have a good chat, and we'll keep moving. Is that fair? Now, that'd be okay if you were some weak, childish, courageousless individual. Is that okay? Yes, sir. Thank you. What about the rest of y'all? Yes, sir. They need some help for a second. Oh, go back out? Okay. What about the rest of y'all? Yes, sir. Thank you. Yeah. There you go. My name is KD Wilson. I live in Greensboro, North Carolina. I have 3 amazing children. I've been married for 14 years. And yeah, thank you. I have a daughter. Y'all come help me. She's 9. Her name is Laylee Jean. My oldest boy is Corbin. He's 7. And my youngest boy is Justice. He's 4. Whenever I see you gentlemen, I had a chance to watch you up here, not performing, but moving and operating in unison as one. I was considering what my boys will look like one day. And I want you to understand the significance of that. Because as a father, I didn't grow up with one. So it's critical for me to see what examples I want for my own children. Does that make sense to you? When I look at you young ladies in the room right now, I have one girl. I will turn the world upside down for her. And my boys too, and they know it. So ladies, when I look at you, I'm looking at what my young, beautiful, amazing daughter Laylee can and will be one day. I think the challenge in this day and age is that we have, 1, either lost contact with, or 2, were never told that even at a young age, you all are setting something called a standard. I am tired right now. Mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. If I told you what my last couple of weeks have been like, you'd be like, brother, I don't know how you're here right now. But what I will tell you is this. I carry the standard for my home. So that means when I'm tired, I find a way. When I'm exhausted, I find a way. When I want to give in to societal norms and just say, oh man, forget all this extra character integrity stuff. Let me just do what's easy and convenient. I find a way because I'm the standard in my home. If you do not have a standard, you will fall to the standard of others. What that means is if you don't decide what you will be in life starting right now, not tomorrow when it's fun, not maybe when I cross the stage for graduation, but right now, the world will tell you what you can and cannot be. Does that make sense to you? If you're excusing yourself because of your age, you are sadly mistaken. I'm talking to you too. You see, what I've learned in life, in my travels, a lot of people blow smoke. A lot of people tell really cool stories, but they have no evidence to back it up. I left a 401k, a pension, insurance, everything that was convenient and stable and comfortable because I knew that God had called me to be in this space called education. Last year alone, from January to probably the end of October, collectively I stood in front of close to 20,000 people nationwide. That may not sound like much to you, but it makes a difference when you understand that I graduated in the bottom of my class in high school. And my senior counselor told me, KD, you're a nice young man, but you're not college material. I have more degrees than he does. The reason I share that with you is because you are going to come up against things. As my brother was talking to the young man up here, and he said, you don't have to give in to what people tell you you can and cannot be. I have lived out and continue to live out that conversation because I had a Mr. Drummer in my life. And for me, it was my high school coach. And when I got to college, check this part out, I found myself freshman year on academic probation. What does that mean? Somebody tell me. I was about to what? About to get kicked where? Out. Now, I will tell you, I'm a proud Aggie, doggone pride, proud graduate of the one and only North Carolina A&T State University. And my freshman year, I had changed my environment, but I didn't change what? My mindset. It doesn't matter if you pick up a bag of crap and move it and put it somewhere else. It's still what? A bag of crap. Point being, if you have a garbage mentality when you're younger and you assume that because I've made it, I've crossed the stage, which by the way is expected of you, I love you enough to hold it to a different standard than society does. I don't cheer and celebrate a whole lot when I see brothers cross the stage in high school. That sounds really heavy. It sounds kind of callous, like, Katie, you don't know his story. You don't know mine either. And my expectations of him are to graduate. My expectations of her is to graduate. Regardless of your circumstances, find a way to create the standard and do it anyway. One of my favorite poems is by Edgar Guest. It's called It Couldn't Be Done. It says, somebody said that it couldn't be done, but he with a chuckle replied that maybe it couldn't, but he'd be the one who wouldn't say so till he tried. So he buckled right in with a trace of a grin on his face. If he worried, he hid it. He started to sing as he tackled the thing that couldn't be done, and he did it. Somebody scoffed, you'll never do that. At least no one's ever done it. So he took off his coat, and he took off his hat. The first thing we knew, he'd begun it. The lift of his chin and a bit of a grin, without any doubting or quitting, he started to sing as he tackled the thing that couldn't be done, and he did it. 1,000 will tell you it cannot be done. 1,000 will prophesy failure. 1,000 will point to you one by one the dangers that wait to assail you. Just buckle right in with a bit of a grin, take off your coat and go to it. Starting to sing as you tackle the thing that cannot be done, and you'll do it. It cannot be done. Says who? Says who? Mothers, fathers, community members, it can't be done. Says who? The issue that we have today, my friends, young and old, is that we disguise our lack of effort with false courage. What it really is doubt. So what we do is we say, well, I'm going to go do this one day. Bet, tell me how. I'm going to go here one day. Cool, tell me how you're going to get there. Well, Katie, I'm going to be this one day. Really? If I set goals this wide, the likelihood of me reaching those is this big. Do you know why? Because if we set our goals so big, we don't have to hold to that thing called accountability. That means if I just tell them, hey, one day I'm going to be this. Really? What's the plan? I'm going to do it. Really? What's the plan? I don't know yet, but I'm going to find a way to get there. Really? What's the plan? If you bring it in this big, the likelihood of you hitting that mark is this big. Do you see the difference? My college men, raise your hand. What do you study? What are you going to do? Sure about that? What are you majoring in? Mm-hmm. What are you going to do? You sure? Okay. I'll take it. I'll take it. What you majoring in? What are you going to do? You sure? Did anyone notice what I did not ask them? There's a certain word. Starts with a W. Not why. Not when. Not quite. Come on, scholars. W-A-N-T. I did not ask you what you wanted to do because I don't care. I asked you what you're what? Say it again. Going to do. Do you see the difference? I don't care what you want to do at all. I don't ever ask scholars what they want to do because I couldn't care less at all. And I mean it. Aggressively and disrespectfully, I don't care. I don't. My son is 7. He knows Dad does not care what he wants to be one day. That sounds mean. Katie's brother in first grade. Yeah, I'm well aware. I say, son, tell me what you're going to do one day. Because if I begin to shift his mentality right now when he's young, we don't have to fix it when he gets older. Does that make sense to you? Ladies, when I talk to my daughter, I am quick to apologize if I make a mistake because I am the standard of a healthy man in my home. So she has to understand that she's not flawless and neither is Daddy. She also has to understand that she too, and I love this skit earlier, gentlemen, she also has a standard of expectation on her. Well, she's only 9. I don't care. Not even a little bit. Aggressively and disrespectfully. Do you know why? Because my mother's name is Betty Jean. My grandmother's name is Thelma Louise. What that means is they are from the what? The doggone South. And what that means is the standard that my mother set, and if I tear up and cry, is good because I appreciate her, and I thank God she's still here with us today. The standard my mother set was when my father decided to go be somewhere else in the world doing his own thing, she worked 3 jobs to make sure me and my sister were okay. I saw my mother when I woke up, and she was headed to work. When I came home from school, she was changing uniforms from a part-time job going to the second one. When I was getting ready to go to bed, she was coming home to check on me, changing clothes again, and going back to work through the midnight shift to make sure me and my sister were good. She set a standard. So I don't care what the want is when I watched her do what she had to do to make sure I had a chance. The reason I'm telling you that is because the late, great Dr. Miles Monroe said, when the purpose of a thing is unknown, abuse is inevitable. He said, when the purpose of a thing is unknown, abuse is inevitable. What does inevitable mean? Somebody talk to me. Not it might, not it could, but it what? It will. It's going to happen. What that means to everyone in the room and for the folks in the back too, if you are not living a life that's filled with purpose, you are abusing the opportunity of life that you have. I wish I came to be cheerful and do backflips and rain down sunshine and rainbows and Skittles. I did not. I came to encourage you and to charge you to understand the value of life that you have, because my friends, time is the currency of life. Time is the currency of life. And when you spend it, you cannot get it back. Somebody tell me, does anybody in this room control time? Yes or no? Can you rewind time? Can you put it on hold and give it to somebody else? The only thing you can do with time is 2 things alone. You can either invest it or waste it. There's nothing in between. So for me, waking up this morning and making sure I had my home in place to drive 5+ hours down here to be with you, and when I'm done, I'm driving back because my kids have school in the morning and I'm the one that takes them. Standard. I could complain and be like, well, I'm tired and I got things to do. When they wake up in the morning, aside from God saying it's my time to leave this place, I will be there. I will be there. Because I set a standard for myself. What standard do you set? Well, KD, I'm young. I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you thought about that. If you know anything about this particular month, we're celebrating what? Now, I happen to be a man of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. With that, one of my late chapter brothers, Carter G. Woodson, is the one that actually started Black History Month. He desired to celebrate not only the opportunities, but the skill sets of people of color in this country. Now, I'm no historian, but I know enough to know that what our ancestors went through is so outrageously incredible, it's a disservice for us to do anything other than to live our best. even at a young age. Because most of the people that started out in the civil rights movement were young people just like you. When I think about Dorothy Bridges, who knows who she is and what she did? If I ain't love you, I'll throw this microphone at you right now. Any idea? Did I say Dorothy? Ruby. I appreciate you correcting me. Thank you. What'd she do? Take a guess. I'm good with being wrong. Take a stab at it. She was less than 7 when she did something. Say it again. She integrated what? What does that mean? She was the first, not just black girl, but there you go. She was less than 7 years old when she did it. Anybody in this row, matter of fact, anybody from start to the back, if you are over 5 years old, you have no excuses, and neither do I. Because her mother and her father said, "Baby, are you sure that you want to go and do this?" And she said, "Mama, Daddy, I'll go." So much so that the U.S. Marshals had to come and escort her to school because adults were standing not only with picket signs, but little handmade caskets saying, "We'll kill you," to her kindergartner. Can you imagine that? And she went anyway. She went anyway. Do you know what kind of authentic audacity it takes to do something like that? I don't. I ain't been there before. One thing I can say, I'm proud of her. And she's still alive today. And that wasn't that long ago. We feel like things happened so long ago that, oh man, that was way back when. Nah, it really wasn't. Look up your history. It really wasn't. In this state, there was so much that happened in Georgia. So much that happened. I've got books on top of books on top of books. And the more I read, the more I see that happen in this state right here. What does that mean? What's the significance? You have a chance to do what? Raise the what? Raise the what? Raise the standard. The first thing I want you to understand is purpose. The second thing is vision. What is it? Y'all better talk to me before I jump off this stage. The first thing is purpose. The second thing is what? Vision. Everybody else. The first thing is purpose. The second thing is what? Vision. Let me pause and put a little pin in this for just a second. For those of you that are parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, if we got them, as my great-grandmother would say, I'm going to get in your backyard for a second. What that means is I'm getting your business. I'm challenging you to stop charging them to be what you're not willing to do yourself. Let me explain that for you. Well, Katie, I made so many sacrifices along, and I appreciate you, and I'm proud of you. But guess what? That's your responsibility. When I ask you to stop charging them to do what you won't do yourself, if you tell them to dream, you dream too. If you tell them to pursue something, you pursue it too. If you tell them get up and be disciplined, you be disciplined too. And I ain't just talking about going to work every day. That's autopilot. That's easy. You already know that stuff. We drift into complacency, my friends. That means it happens very slowly over time, that I'm comfortable and I know what this is like, and tomorrow's going to be just like that. And yeah, the day your life becomes predictable is the day you settled. And the day you settled, if you're anything like a shark, if a shark stops swimming, what happens to it? It begins to die. That sounds harsh, I understand. But what I do not want for you, and you better breathe this in, I don't want you to get to the end of your life, and that's for y'all too, and for God to say, take a look over there. That's who you were supposed to be, but you didn't because you were afraid and because you settled. I don't want you to look at what you were supposed to be and that person's a stranger to you. They should look familiar to you because you put in the work right now. Because now, my friends, is all we got. This is it. And if you know anything about life, man, sometimes it feels short, y'all. My next 10 seconds is not promised. I'm well aware of that. But guess what? I am living out my purpose right now. So I hope he doesn't, but if God said, hey, man, it's time to go, my wife and my kids know exactly where I am and exactly what I'm doing. And you were not a waste of my last breath if that's what it took. Listen to what I just said, man, because everybody don't mean that. You're going to have some people that's going to say some stuff to you. It's going to sound real catchy. It's going to sound real cool. It's going to sound like, oh, yeah, he's about his business. Yeah, cool, right. Now, listen, I just told you that if this costs me my last breath, I'm good with it. Do you know why? Because I told my kids and my wife I love them before I left. And I don't have to look back and regret something because I'm living it out every day. Because in my home, I am the standard. And anyone that understands what leadership looks like, you realize it's terrifying. Because people are looking to you for answers, man, and sometimes I ain't got them. Sometimes things are tough, y'all, and I want to cry just like y'all. And sometimes things look sideways. I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to get through this thing. I have no idea how I'm going to produce something that has to be produced. Let me ask you a question. What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? Raise your hand. Give me an answer. What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? Matter of fact, anybody in the room, raise your hand. What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? Cure cancer. I'm with it. Who else? What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? Don't overthink it. Yes. You said sleep? You said sleep. I appreciate you answering. She said sleep. I can't fail at this. I'm out. What would you do if you couldn't fail? Yes. I love that. You're in college, right? What year? Okay, sophomore. What are you majoring in? What are you going to do? You sure about that? I like it. The answer was, I would show my people how to be successful as I am. I love it. Yes. Help people in need? I like it. Good. Give me some folks in the back, that corner. What would you do if you couldn't fail? Raise your hand. Give me some loud answers. I have a cordless microphone. I do not mind walking out there to you. Say it again. Now with a voice like that, you better speak up. What? Okay, I'm with it. Who else? You couldn't fail. What'd you do? What would you do? You could not fail. What would you do? Yes. Say again. Become the president. Okay. All right. I'm with it. I'm with it. Who else? Give me two more. Yes. Eradicate hate. That's important. Yeah. Yeah. Give me another one. Give me one more. What would you do? You couldn't fail. What would you do? What you got? You couldn't fail. You tried, you could not fail. What would you do? Nope, in the back. She knows who I'm talking to. What you got? Anything at all? Mm-hmm. Don't look around, I'm talking to you. You're good. You're good. It's only me and you. That's it. You could not fail. What would you do? Okay. You fix world hunger. I'm with it. Okay. Okay. You ready for the twist? Yes? I wasn't asking you the answers that you gave me. I wasn't asking you what fun and positive and self-centered slightly thing that you might do. I asked you a simple question. The question was, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? Let me ask you that question again. What if you weren't permitted to fail? What would you do? You see the difference? I'll explain it to you. When it comes to my family, when it comes to you all, I'm not permitted to fail. I have to figure it out. You understand now? You get what I'm saying now? The difference isn't, hey, Katie, what fun and cool thing would you do if you tried, you knew that it was impossible for you not to take the shot, not to make it? No, what I'm asking you is, if you knew you had to succeed at all cost, what would you do? Do you see the difference now? You see what I'm talking about? Give me an answer, yes or no? I don't get to fail in some areas of life. There's sometimes, y'all, where I have to figure it out. There are some moments when I look up, no matter the circumstances, situations, or anything in front of me, I cannot fail. I gotta get it done. Because I hold the what? The standard. Y'all, you feel where I'm going with this, y'all? And I'm almost done. I'm going to get out of your way in a second. But what I want you to understand is that when you have purpose and it's lined up with vision, that next thing is commitment. What's that word? What does commitment mean? Talk to me. Commitment. Yes. Give me an example of commitment. Yes. Well said. What's your name? Say again. Well said. The next piece after commitment is ownership. Say ownership. What does that mean? Say it again. Yes. Say it again. That means I don't do what? I don't point fingers. If I do, it comes where? Right back here. We don't like that ownership piece. I'm going to hold you to a standard right now. And I'm not going to say who it was, but I'm going to hold you to a standard right now because my expectations of you are higher. After the rehearsal, in some of the vocabulary that I heard, there were certain words that should not be used. And I heard them. I heard them loud and clear. Leadership starts with language, guys. Not only how you talk to yourself, but also how you talk to each other. There are certain words you should and should not use. I don't have to look at anybody or say exactly who it was. But I'm holding you to a standard right now because if I don't, that's on me. You can't be one thing on stage, and when you're off stage, revert back to what's easy and cool and whatever. That's we. The person I am right here is the person I am at home. The person I am at home is the person I am in the community, is the person I am at church, is the person I am everywhere else. Be mindful of what you say. You never know who's listening to you. And not only that, but you never know what opportunity you might have thrown away because I heard what you said. You feel what I'm saying? Does that make sense? So there might be words that we were all raised to say and things that we're used to saying and we're comfortable with around our peers. And yeah, some like, oh, well, that's cool. That's just the way we talk. Says who? I'm not asking you to do this and be something you're not. Man, please, get out of here. What I am saying is how you talk to yourself is how you will live your life. So when I wake up in the morning, if the first thing I do is look at myself and call myself certain words and certain phrases, I'll live like that. When I look at certain people and I assume that, oh man, now look at how they are. Let me X, Y, and Z. I'll treat them like that. Even if I don't do it outwardly, I'll do it where? Inwardly. That's just as bad, if not worse, because you ain't have the heart to say it out loud. Does that make sense? So I'm challenging you and charging you to not only be a man of integrity and character and leadership out loud, but also on the inside. Because here's what happens to a seed. It will either rot or grow. That's it. The seed determines the potential, the soil determines the growth. An apple tree has everything it needs to be wrapped up in a seed. If I put it into the dirt, and the dirt is bad, ladies, what happens to it? Say it again. Exactly. Not only will it not grow, but if the soil around it is toxic and bad, what happens to it? Only two things. It either does what? What or grow? It either what? Not just dies, but it rots. Does that make sense to you? It will either rot or it will do what? Grow. Check this out. You are both the seed and a part of the soil at the same time. Somebody once said that you are the 5 people you surround yourself with the most. That means if I look at the soil around you, I can tell you the likelihood of you growing into being what you're supposed to be. I surround myself with people like him. And I surround myself with people that know more than me. I surround myself with people that carry a level of integrity and character that when I look at them, I'm like, yo, I don't know how, but I want to figure it out. Because you will rise and fall, guys, to the level of your standard. And if your standard is here, you can reach that easy. But if what you're doing is easily attainable, it's also easy to lose. Does that make sense to you? Purpose, vision, commitment, ownership. That next thing is strategy. Say strategy. What that means is, yeah, my senior counselor said I wasn't college material. That means that I got my way into college because I said I was going to do it. When I got there, I changed my environment. I didn't change my what? Academic probation. I ended up walking into one of my professor's classes, sitting in the back, minding my own business, but not handling my business. See the difference? He said, Mr. Wilson, meet me in my office. I walked into his office. I stood there. I said, Dr. Hall, you called me in. He said, you're stupid, aren't you? Yeah, same thing I said. Now, if y'all are anything like me, I'm looking around like, who is this brother think he's talking to? Dr. Hall's like that big glasses. I'm like, brother, okay, yeah, we about to scrap, but I'm raised to respect my elders, so I'm gonna give him a second chance. Maybe I misheard him. He said, you're stupid, aren't you? I said, Dr. Hall, respectfully, sir, stop calling me stupid. He said, either you're stupid or you don't know. I said, don't know what? He said, see, you stupid. I said, Dr. Hall, I said, sir, you call me stupid again. And he was like, and what? Exactly. I was like, and nothing, because I can't fight you. I ain't going to jail. I'm not doing well in school right now. He's got a couple PhDs, so let me listen to what this man got to say. I said, Dr. Hall, please stop calling me names. He said, prove me wrong, get out. And kicked me out of his office. Y'all, if you ever been so mad you didn't have words, you were breathing heavy and pacing back and forth? You ever had it happen before? Like when talking about what you would have done? Man, I tell you what, man, next I see him in the hallway, it's going to be, all right, yeah, well, say something, Dr. Hall. I'm having an invisible conversation right now. I could have said it a minute ago, but I didn't. I'm in my dorm room, grabbing my backpack, throwing all my books in there, mad. I end up at the library until 4 a.m. I was a psych major. It was a Monday, Wednesday, Friday class that happened on Monday. That Wednesday, every single question he had, I answered every single one. Any of my classmates, put your hand down, I'll punch you in the face. I got the answer. You be quiet. Say something else. I got the answer. He said, Mr. Wilson, I said, no, you called me stupid. He said, you're not. I said, I know. He said, you just figured out what I've known all along. He said, you covered 4 months of material in 1.5 nights because I called you a name. Not to mention, I just used chapter 2 on you, reverse psychology. I said, this dude literally called me a name and used something out of a chapter that I had not read to turn my life what? Around. Do you know that he calls me to come back and guest lecture and speak in his classes now? Dr. Hall is an esteemed professor in the field of psychology nationwide. I go back and I say, Dr. Hall, why'd you call me that? He said, because I need you to put the effort in life that you gave me 2 nights ago. He said, you're on academic probation. For what? He said, young man, the expectation and standard is for you to go on to graduate school and do more than I've done. I said, Dr. Hall, I have no expectations or any reason to go to grad school. He said, guess what you got? I said, what? He said, you have a 100-page paper to write. I said, 3 digits. I said, Dr. Hall, for what? He said, because you're going to get your master's one day and you'll need it. I said, Dr. Hall, I ain't going to grad school. I'm not, but I ain't. My first semester in grad school at Duke University, where I graduated, magna cum laude, 3-point shy of summa cum laude, I had a 100-page paper to write. And it was easy work because Dr. Hall made me write that 100-page paper when I was complaining and griping and crying. He had implemented strategy in my life I didn't even ask for. So when you have your mentors and people that are challenging you and pushing you to do things you don't feel like doing, could it be because they can see something you can't see right now? Could it be that they've already climbed a mountain that you're still at the base of? Could it be that because they're standing at the top, they can tell you how to get up? Hey, turn left, turn right, stop, a storm's coming. Cool, move again, run, move fast, now slow down, catch your breath, hit it again. Why? They've climbed that doggone mountain already. And when you get there, not only can you look and see how far you've come, but also how far you still have to go. But at the base of the mountain, you all, and that's for y'all in the back too, if I'm standing here looking up at this mountain called life saying, that's too big. I can't do that. That's impossible. There's a couple little kids in the room, so I'm going to be very gentle with what I have to say to you. But respectfully, shh. And you understand what I'm saying. silence all that noise. Because if the people that had come before us, which includes everybody in this room, looked at the mountain of life and said, that's impossible. No, instead, somebody said that it couldn't be done. But he with a chuckle replied, but maybe it couldn't, but I'll be the one who won't say so till I try. Hold this. And they went. Because they put that next piece into place, you all, called action. What's that word? Action. Hang on, we're almost done. I'm going to get you out of here. Because action is the lifeblood of ideas. If you have an idea and you put no action behind, it's just a cool story. It's just a cool story. Because I'm in my PhD program right now. And I could not have been that had I not had somebody like that said, hey, where are you going? I'm going to class. No. Where are you going in life? And one thing I did not have were brothers around me to challenge me and encourage me and to lift me up. So when you're up here, and what was your chant, my man? When you were walking across the stage, what was your thing that you said to them? Say it like you actually mean it.
Be dedicated to succeeding.
What was the next?
Be a model of respect.
What was the next?
Inspire those around you.
What was the next?
Be vigilant and watch out for your brothers.
That one right there. What does it mean to be vigilant? What does it mean to be vigilant? Yes. Somebody tell me, how about this? We're going to break it down to sports for just a quick second. If the quarterback has a weak offensive line, what happens to him? Not just sacked, but he gets crushed. True or false? If the quarterback has a brutally strong and protective and vigilant offensive line, it gives him the opportunity to do what with the ball? To make plays. He can sit in this thing called the what? The pocket. And he can watch the field and see what's happening. You have to be the O-line for one another. Does that make sense to you? You have to be the O-line for one another. Well, Katie, they made me upset. So does the standard of your love, is it dictated by how well someone performs, or do you love them because you said you love them? If the standard of loving a person is dictated by their performance, that's not love. That's manipulation. And unfortunately, we still live in a day and age where I'll do for you if I think you're going to do for me. Can I challenge you to be bigger than that? Can I challenge you to look at life and say, now I'm not going to be anybody's footstool or doorstep. I didn't say that. But what I will do is I will hold my standard of character, integrity, and love regardless of how you are. So can you be the one that when life starts showing up for other people, you jump in the gap and you push that thing off to give them just a quick second to sit in that pocket and figure out their next move? Does that make sense to you? The last thing is results. Say results. What I do not want you to do is to sacrifice your vision because you don't get the results that you want. The people that are most successful in life are problem solvers. Figure out what problems assigned to your life. Figure it out, and can I tell you, in a financial space, you will start to grow capital quick. As a self-made entrepreneur from scratch, I'm not bragging, I'm just showing you the possibilities. I've hit 6 figures 3 years in a row, and I'm only 5 years in. Maybe that means nothing to you, but I told you my mom worked 3 part-time jobs to make sure me and my sister were okay. My whole family has been divorced and fallen apart my whole doggone life. I've been married 14 years to the same woman, and I have 3 amazing children that I'm outrageously engaged with. I am setting a standard so that anybody that's in my circle can look at me and say, he's not perfect, but he exemplifies authentic audacity. Do you understand what I'm saying? Look at the mark, go for the mark, reach the mark, excel the mark. But if you sit and you tell yourself, well, this is just where I'm from, this is what my people do, this is what we've always done, this is as far as we'll go, guess what? You're right. You're right. Going back to the question of what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail, can I challenge you to think that way anyway? My man said I'd be president. Why not go for it? Somebody said I'd go for the league. Why not go for it? If the first thing you said to yourself just now was an excuse, that's the first problem you got. Well, the first thing we do is call out what we can't do instead of looking at what we already have in our what? In our what, y'all? In our hands. Do you know what you have in your hands, y'all? This thing called time. You got time. So my last statement to you is this. I believe in the power of affirming words. So I want to declare some things just out loud. And if you take it and you agree with it, just say that's me. Is that fair? You better give me an answer. My hope, charge, and declaration is that you all, everybody, would live a strong and healthy and fulfilling life to the end of your days. That's me. All right. That whatever you put your hands to do, you would succeed in and be prosperful and be fruitful in that thing. That's me. That you would be surrounded, encouraged, and uplifted by people that mean you well and not harm. That you would be someone to lift up, encourage, empower, inspire, and educate others for the good in this world. And that whenever you look in the mirror, you would realize you were born on purpose, with purpose, and for purpose. I appreciate your time so much. Thank you all.
Hey, can we turn the house lights on? Can we give it up for Mr. Wilson one more time? I bet y'all won't stand on your feet and showing you loving for real. AAMI, can we give it up for Mr. Wilson? East Georgia Bobcats, can we give it up for Mr. Wilson? Make some noise in the house of Mr. Wilson, all the way from North Carolina. Real quick, before we let y'all get out of here, we got a few things that I want to just drop off as some clear-cut reminders. Compliments of K.D. Wilson. So all y'all got your little phones. Take it out, because it's time to make sure you have your notes. Jalen Gallman. Mr. K.D. Wilson gave us a strategic plan for life, did he not? For all the 20 and below in the room, what's the first thing that he stated? All the 20 and below. I heard you, Taylor. Talk to me. Oh, that wasn't Taylor. Excuse me? First one, It's all well and good in the moment, and it's retained in the moment. But what's going to happen when you go back to your room and you wasn't taking notes when he was dropping gems of knowledge and direction for your life? You're getting in your room, you're trying to figure it out. Oh man, I don't know what to do. You're already off track. So I took notes for you because I know what students we're serving. I love y'all. Number one, purpose. Drop it in your notes. Purpose. Vision. Purpose, vision, commitment, ownership. Purpose, vision, commitment, ownership, strategy, action. Am I going too fast? Purpose, vision, commitment, ownership, strategy, action, results. When I met Mr. Wilson, the first thing he and I both said was, "Dang, we look alike." When we converse with each other and our spirits connected, our spirit said, "Dang, we look alike." Mr. Wilson said, "I apologize, I'm sorry that I didn't come here to do flips and jumping around and all this stuff to tell him. If that was the guy he was, he would have never been here because I would have never invited him. When I'm here at this institution, I'm looking on how we can serve students, how we can uplift you, how we can move you to the next level, how we can just edify you, build you up. I'm not looking for somebody to come here and tell you jokes and make you feel good. I'm looking for someone that's going to talk to your heart, to help you move forward. And if y'all will agree with me, Mr. Wilson did that tonight. Can we agree with that? Technical difficulty. Those of you who had your teachers that would give you extra credit for coming to the program, write my email address down, and I'm going to email all of you. My email address, amdrummer @ega.edu. And I'm going to send you a link so that you can put in your response about your take on the program so that you can get your extra credit. I'm excited about tonight. I'm excited about the future. It's time for us to wrap up. For the community, we want y'all to be more immersed with East Georgia State College. Just to put this nugget out there, Wednesday night, tomorrow night, East Georgia State College, we have a doubleheader, do we not? The men and women's basketball game will be tomorrow night in the gym. Y'all come out and have yourselves a good time. The women are ranked the 25th in the nation and the country. Yeah, that's clap worthy. All right. On Saturday, the men's baseball team have a home game also. So if you're not doing anything on Saturday, hey, East Georgia is here to show you love, show you support, entertain you on the courts, on the fields, educate you in the classrooms. We thank you all for coming out. We ask that you all have a blessed night and get home safely. One moment, I see Dr. Whelan in the room. Dr. Whelan is our provost. Dr. Whelan, would you like to make a statement at all? I put her on the spot, so. All right, that's a wrap. Good people, y'all get back safe. AAMI, y'all stick around because we need y'all on the stage to take a quick shot with Mr. K.D. Wilson. Oncoming crew, take the stage also.